The sassy man era.
As a man, according to the internet's new rules, you officially get categorized as two groups nowadays.
Okay.
You're either group A.
Don't forget, I'm invincible.
Or you're either group B.
Matcha. I'm taking matcha any day of the week. I don't care what anyone says. Matcha is a top 3 drink. Top 3 teas of all time: Thai tea, matcha, and chai in no order. If you know, you know. I'm taking this. I feel like you could find the right balance in between, but there's nothing wrong with either or.
Guys, on 3, we're gonna take a boomerang. We're gonna shake our bottles, okay?
Okay,
So
you.
1, 2, 3.
You look stupid, bro.
And I speak for all men when I say we only classify as these and it's impossible to fit another category. Anyways, y'all, the talk of the interweb for the past couple of years has been that men are getting quote unquote soft. But it's been really ramping up from last year to now when people have been talking more about it. And
I feel like there's a hate train on men talking about, oh, as a man, why are you using Apple Music? As a man, why are you doing this? As a man, why are you doing that? Bro, just let me breathe.
the majority of the time, the main people saying this are men online, obviously. Whether it just be a comment on a post, an alpha male podcaster saying humanity is falling because of it. But another category of people that I also haven't seen mentioned that say it too is women online. I always have to say this because people are sped. Not all women are like that and say men need to be more manly and less sassy online. But usually the people I see mentioned that say it are the alpha gurus and male podcasters. And I don't usually see women mentioned in the conversation about it. They have another name for it too. They call it the quote unquote sassy man apocalypse. And how it works.
No, it's crazy because they're like, oh, men used to go to war, but now they're not even texting back on time, or what's it called? They're worried about their phones. Isn't that a good thing? Like, do you want us to go back outside or go to war and eventually like injure ourselves? But I understand a lot of this is like a joke. At least I hope so.
Works is it'll be a man posting something on TikTok of them doing a more feminine like activity. Could be something like doing Pilates. And before someone's like, huh, well, Tommy, those are perfectly normal activities that any gender can. Shut up! Calm your ass.
I'm sorry, I've never seen a man do Pilates. I mean, unless they were a little, you know, but hey, if that's the case, then that's the case.
This ain't a Twitter comment section. We all know anyone can do these activities. Like, I don't have to explain when I say a feminine activity. And whenever a man posts him doing one of these activities, you'll at least get a couple of people in the comments saying, why is he acting so zesty or sassy? And it don't even gotta be something crazy for real. Like, a man could record himself and be drinking matcha in the video. And you'll have some people in the comments like, yo, bro, that's a little zesty. Why you?
No, I remember there used to be men clowning other men for actually taking care of their nails, going out and getting their feet done. Like, bro, hygiene is not zesty. Hygiene is not weird. Hygiene is not, you know, all of that. Hygiene is good. You know it's bad when we're calling people with good hygiene zesty. Taking care of your face and your skin is good hygiene. It's not zesty. Washing your ass with actual toilet paper. I mean, hold on. Washing your ass and putting your hand inside your butt is good hygiene. It's not zesty. All right, I don't want to hear people walking around with dirty ass drawers talking about, oh, bro, at least I'm a man. Being a man doesn't include being dirty.
You get a matcha and not pure black coffee. What am I gonna do with all these sassy men around? Like, why are you drinking the girly drinks? As a man on the internet, if you post you doing something like that, you really won't win. If you post you doing something slightly perceived as a feminine thing, you'll get hate from men and women. And
You can't even post selfies. I've literally seen people on Twitter tweet out, why are you as a man taking selfies? Like, that's a feminine thing to do. God forbid a man has confidence and wants to show his face.
I think this whole thing stems from older generations. Since Gen Z and before was raised by older generations that usually followed the traditional ways, a lot of us have carried these ways to our adulthoods. And you can pick out the good and bad between the things that we were taught compared to now. I'm not here to be a therapist and get everyone's perspective on how that lifestyle has affected them for good or bad. There's traditional things that work for some people and some don't, simple as that. But there's definitely things we can all universally agree on that they were low-key tripping over as men back in the day. Looking back at it, I couldn't live as a man like 20 to 30 years ago. Because you had to be boring as and fit in or your ass was gonna get flamed. A good example is like wearing pink. Back then,
Oh, yeah, I feel like back then people were even worse when it came to this, bro. It's like, there was so long where people would be calling pink girly. You couldn't even express yourself. If back then people seen how men dress today, they would be flaming their ass.
would not dare to touch the color pink because they knew if they did, they would probably get roasted by their friends or their family would think they're zesty. Shoot, up until my elementary school years, we still had that mindset. I'm not gonna lie, it didn't really change.
Yeah.
And even something like skincare. Bro, you couldn't even take care of your skin without a potentially giving you the gay allegations. Men low-key lived like cavemen back then. A lot of the fashion we wear too nowadays, they would think is zesty back then. You couldn't even put that on without getting the allegations. Like, it was
I don't care what anyone says. We are in the best era of fashion, bro. You see everybody trying to do everything. I feel like fashion is now treated more as like a hobby that a lot of people want to be in, as opposed to just everyone sagging their butt, you know, and wearing some baggy ass shorts like they did back in the day. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad skinny jeans are not a trend anymore. My balls couldn't breathe. I don't know how people with skinny jeans do it. My legs need a break.
It was just crazy. And I think the good thing about our generation is we're saying basic like you can actually dress good and wash your face can happen without you getting the zesty allegations or being made fun of by your friends. But clearly some people are still entrenched into that old mindset. You got people like FitX Fearless, who I'm sure some of y'all have heard of, but if you don't know, he's another one of those alpha gurus who has his own course on how to become rich and handsome. And people actually pay to get advice on how to improve their looks from him.
I hate people that ask other people for dating advice. Bro, you gotta understand, it's not a one size fits all. Now, granted, yes, if you take care of yourself and you become well off and you know you're more chiseled, you care about your health and you make more money, then obviously you're gonna have a bigger dating pool of women. But don't think that all girls think the same. Like, it's not a one size fits all, and that's what I feel like they teach them.
Girls, they want Duke Dennis. They don't want me.
No, they want me.
It's not fair.
Oh, shut the hell up.
They want the jewelry, rich guy. They want everything. They don't want a regular Joe.
He built himself. Ain't nobody gave that dude shit. He built himself. You motherfucker get every dude at the finish line and be like, oh, why do women want him?
That is a level of admiration I would never want to have. Oh my goodness, bro. They just want him because he's him. Bro, you could have worked for that too.
Because he tried.
And he's one of those people I feel like that holds the traditional mindset from the past completely. Because he's always complaining about the new generation and the styles people are rocking now. Like, he just hates any man that wears something baggy and thinks it looks childish. And he has multiple videos of him saying it makes you look homeless and dumb.
I'm going to keep telling y'all dress like little kids. I don't care what anybody say, bro.
Bro, this is not a good fit. Like, now, like, that shirt is way too tight on you, and I don't know if you're putting a filter on your face because you look like an anime character, but this is not an amazing fit. Now, granted, yes, you're gonna pull ladies of like that are older, but I don't think people in Gen Z or like our dating pool would want to see a man rocking this, at least not of our age. And God forbid a man have style.
Sassy man is always the best looking man. Nobody could beat that guy. I don't give a damn what you say, bro. I don't give a damn about no new trends, this baggy clothes bullshit that you idiots think look cool. You don't look like a man. I don't give a damn what you think. Stop wearing baggy clothes. They make you look homeless. The losers on the internet want you to believe.
Hold on, what if it's like a cold day? What if I'm trying to be comfortable? What if I'm swagging out, chilling? I'm not trying to go outside looking formal every day. And plus, if you want to look formal, you could actually still style it pretty good without wearing them tight-ass clothes that show every little muscle fiber in your thigh.
That a guy who dressed classy, a guy who wears fitted clothes, something is wrong with him. Not the guy who looks homeless and wears baggy clothes.
Calling Drake homeless is crazy work.
That is quote-unquote comfortable. The problem with this is you don't command respect with your image.
I'm sorry, bro, but I'm not trying to look like The Rock from the 90s every time I step out of the
Literally.
house. Or dress like I'm going to a wedding.
And you could, like, this is not a good fit. There's better ways of dressing formal that look better than this.
Every day. Some occasions deserve the fitted clothes and some deserve the baggy clothes. That's all it is. Because fashion has always been the one thing that's progressed and changed depending on its time. So why would you want to stay one style forever without trying different things? If people treated fashion like his thinking forever, then we'd still be wearing those 1800s outfits. This is the type of thinking older generations still have though. Like, he low-key gives me the vibes of what a woman in her 50s would dream as their one night.
Exactly.
Universally with fashion though, I think we've all been way more open to changing up things in our generation. I mean, in 2017, we're dressing like this and we realized, all right.
No, this was terrible. The high beast trend is perhaps one of the most terrible things. I don't even think people looked at the actual clothes that they were wearing. I think they just thought to themselves, oh, this is trendy. Everybody likes this. Let me rock it. This was a terrible era.
We gotta change this up. But then you go out actually putting that on, and you're gonna have some older family member side-eyeing you, thinking you might swing the other way because you wanted to dress nice. A thing you'll hear some women say online is the phrase, men used to go to war. And it's used as an insult online, usually when it's a man doing something.
You should be happy that men aren't going to war anymore.
Something perceived more feminine. When I say perceived more feminine too, it really doesn't even have to be that. It could just be him doing something fun. It's to the point where some of them will literally record random men in public to make fun of them for it.
Now, granted, yes, okay, and now if men will go to war and your family goes to war, like, are you still gonna feel the same? I know this is a joke, obviously, but this is I know there's definitely some people that believe this. It's funny though. It's definitely funny.
Like, all bro did in the first video was drink a frappe he bought with his hard-earned money. And all they did in the other was take a picture at a staircase. And by the way, there's a more than 100% chance men built those stairs. So I'd be damned as a man if I can't take pictures of something I build. I'll take a million pictures if I want to. The whole men used to go to war thing doesn't make sense to me because, for one, millions of men still do go to war all over the world.
Yeah, and it's like, do you think when men went to war, they just came back just, I don't know, chugging beer, smoking cigarettes? Like, of course, they probably all had their recreational activities that they like to do. So it's like, you can still do both. For all you know, that dude with the Frappuccino has like 30 kills. You just will never know.
Like, do you not read the news or something? There's about a war started every week nowadays. And for the men at war in the past, do you think they actually wanted to be there? Men had zero choice but to be in the war.
And I'm pretty sure the women that they did love wanted them back.
Or they would literally draft your name out of a hat and you had to be in the field. Or your ass was getting sent to prison to eternally be a named Bubba's prison wife. Also, there's a lot of countries where men around the world are still required to be in the military. Like in South Korea, BTS had to stop for a while because some of the members had to do their mandatory military service. And this type of precedent to me probably isn't the best thing to set, because if y'all really do want it to go back to men fighting in wars and stuff, as a man, as soon as you turn 18, you're getting sent on your way to serve your duties, then be prepared as a woman. If you don't cook for your husband one day, you and the children got a 50% chance of getting beat that night.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, domestic violence was a crazy thing, and I'm pretty sure with every man going to war and getting PTSD, those rates were pretty high.
Because that's what the older generations of men did. Like, I really don't think you want to be in that generation. And then you go in the comment sections of these videos, and it's women saying things like, men are so princessy now, or so many princesses. I also get confused by this too, because isn't it mainly women saying men need to be more tapped in their emotions? Like, for decades,
I didn't even think about that. Yo, we in the sassy man apocalypse, but at the same time, men gotta express their feelings. Like, how are those two intertwined? It's either you want me to go to war, or you want me to be emotionally stable.
the complaint has always been that men are so emotionless and never like to express themselves. And that definitely is true a lot of times. You try to talk to any man over 60 about mental health or therapy, and they go, mental health? My mental health was working 128-hour work weeks at 10 years old and walking 5 miles to school after, and then walking 5 miles back to finish the day. Then going on my grandpa's boat and fishing 5 fish a day for the entire family to eat. Mental health is something you made up after the 2000s. That was my impression of a blue-collar worker. Then when men nowadays actually try to express themselves, we're sassy and princesses? This just shows me that a lot of y'all saying this will say one thing online, then act completely different when it comes to actual situations. Now, I obviously don't think all the women saying men used to go to war are serious and they're just joking. But it's one of those things where it's so many people saying it, everyone can't be joking about it. I didn't realize this until I grew up, but in our generation, there's still a ton of women that want to live that more traditional lifestyle. Because all you would see on
yeah, that's true. I mean, granted, I definitely think women should pursue whatever they want in life, but I know a lot of women that would prefer to get their degree and also just be a housewife and chill at home. Because I want to chill at home. You know, I want to be a stay-at-home dad, you know? So it's like, I understand why someone would want to stay at home, but I feel like if you want those traditional things, you have to live amongst those traditional values.
ads and online for years, it was all about independence for women and living that lifestyle. Which, if it works for you, that's amazing, you know, I don't got no complaints. But then as I grew up and would ask the women around in my life what they wanted for the future, you know, when I became college age and everybody's trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, I would hear a surprising amount of them saying the more traditional thing and maybe working a side job just so they're not bored. Nothing wrong with that either. Should I know in the future for me, I'm gonna provide the best I can for whoever I'm with. As long as a relationship...
I'm gonna be a stay-at-home dad, hopefully still doing content creation till like I'm like 50 years old and shit like that. We both gonna stay at home together, maybe. I don't know, hopefully.
Is healthy, it really shouldn't concern anyone. Then a couple of years ago, that thing blew up on TikTok called tradwives, where it's pretty much women talking about their traditional lifestyle and what they live like. Can this lifestyle turn into a toxic thing? Yes. But that's why you have to have a group of good people around you to tell you when it may be turning into that. You know, it can turn real quick from happily married with kids and living your dream lifestyle to you overcooking the chicken one day and getting RKO'd on the dining room table. I think there is a correlation of this type of lifestyle starting.
If you're getting abused by your partner, yo, you gotta leave them. I know, like, I think the only bad thing about being a housewife and not really going out and working and whatnot is because you leave so much of who you are and your potential and you leave it to the trust of someone else, you know? Like, what if they beat you and what if they leave you? Now, what do you have when you go back outside into the real world? God forbid the relationship just doesn't work out. So it's like, that's why I would say, at the very least, have like a backup.
Starting to trend more and more, and you know, men getting called sassy and zesty and online. You know, this is just my view, but I wasn't really seeing this ramp up like this until recently. People be forgetting there's a large amount of women who also have the traditional mindset of thinking too. Anyways, to wrap everything up, as a man, you shouldn't be crashing out and angry over your girl asking you if you want to get a pedicure with her, and be worried you're gonna get perceived as sassy online if people see it. Maybe it's just the name. If they called it a manly feet cleaning.
I got a pedicure, I think, when I was in like high school. I'm not gonna lie, one of the greatest feelings ever. I will say it was ticklish as hell, but there's nothing wrong with that, bro. At the end of the day, you're just becoming clean. It's not like you're putting like nail polish on your fingers. And if you want to, that's fine too. I'm not saying, all I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with being clean.
I wonder if more men would be open to doing it. Like, it's fine to take care of your skin and make sure you're looking right. And you can do all this while also doing the traditional, more manly stuff. Like locking in with the gym and lifting and providing for whoever you're with in life. I could just never take it serious if another person is trying to call me sassy online because of something. So yeah, let me know what y'all think. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and
Great
TikTok.
video.
As always, I love you guys consensually. And until next time,
I'm out.
I'm out.
Shout out Tommy, man. YouTube, let me know, what have you been told you were sassy about or zesty about? Has anyone called you sassy for, I don't know, eating a banana? Let me know. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, join us on Twitch, all that good stuff, man. Waxer for life. Love y'all.